Hello all and welcome to another video in my journey to 1 million. April's gone, done, been, finished, so it's time to bring to you April Part 2. So before we get going with the games, just a couple of things I would like to say. May, I'm going to hopefully be able to title and certainly go for it. I'm hoping to call it Half a Mil May. Now in the second half of April I did make a little bit of a push in setting that up, so hopefully that can happen. And of course my mixture streaming, it is going well. Bear in mind I started from scratch. The views that I'm getting is encouraging for just starting out, and the people that have been getting involved in the comments and quite active in the comments as well have really made it worthwhile for me. It's been so enjoyable just to chat to people, talk Xbox, talk achievements. So I'm just going to throw out a few names to say thank you to just quickly. I shall try to rattle through them all. Apologies if I missed you out. I think I have caught just about everyone. So a big thank you to True Delirious, Kelverall, 40 Gorilla 29, Crafty E, Horatio Van Basten, Retro Reclaimer, Danester, Gezenator, Roller X-Core, and of course the seemingly ever-present Planet Retro. So thank you to all of those for not just viewing but also getting active in the comments. The streams will continue to be every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10:30, but at the moment, while I am still furloughed from work, I am dropping very many, that's bad English, very many extra streams. So please do, if you do decide to follow me, link is in the description to my mixer with all my social media. Why not hit the bell, then you'll catch one of these extra streams and you can talk gaming and Gamerscore with me, just like everybody else has been. But with that, let's start with what you've probably come here for. Let's talk to the games and show you I've got an April Part 2, and it has been quite a successful second half of April. I have added quite a bit, and I like to do these in chronological order. So we will start with possibly the quickest of the year, potentially, certainly in April Part 2, and that is Blind Men, another visual novel. Now I can't take the credit for getting this in under 10 minutes myself. I did use a guide by the good people of Achievement Land. You can find that guide in a playlist I've titled 100% guides that I've used with 100% success and can vouch for. They basically tell you how to set it up, with what settings you can use, and then basically what all the options that you need to input when you get a different option to pick in order to get all the different endings. Their video runs 8 minutes something if my memory serves, so in under 10 minutes it is easily doable. I did it in under 10 minutes. I was able to follow it bang on, no problems. However, I must admit, if you do need to pause it, then you're probably at worst going to double your time. So it is a super easy completion, probably the easiest of the year, and there's more of these visual novels to come. So Ratalaika Games, keep them coming. Us Gamerscore people do enjoy them for a little boost. Okay, next up, Red Death. This is a top down vertical scrolling shooter, and it's a little bit tricky in places. You might need to do a few practice runs in order to get all the achievements. As I say, I played a lot, so I'm going to have to pop into a lot of these games just for a little bit of a reminder. So the two toughest ones, kill 4 bosses by the look of it, but deploy 5 overloads. You've got to build up your bar without getting hit to be able to deploy an overload, and then you can obviously deploy one. So every time you deploy one, that adds to it. Just you might need a bit of practice in order to get that one and to go through it all. Obviously kill 4 bosses. The longer you stay alive, the better weapons you get and the easier that becomes, but the bosses are a little bit bullet hell. Again, just might need a little bit of practice, as also will be high score of 80,000. That's a little bit touch and go sometimes on whether you're going to make it or not to get to 80,000, but as you'll see, the percentage high unlock rates on all these achievements are extremely high. I mean, look, you get achievements for dying as well. So as you can see, it's not that difficult. I would say this is sort of between the hour to 2 hours is probably a safe guesstimate on that one, because of just getting used to the levels and just a little bit of practice and muscle memory where the enemies attack and things like that, and then you could probably do it. Okay, next one up, I'm not counting as a completion because there's DLC for this. Now this one comes with a strict warning from me. There's no real advice that I can give you at the moment because it's forever changing. Basically, people have made mods for this, which is perfectly legitimately okay, because the option is bottom left of the screen when you start the game, and you have to create a Paradox account to do it, and then you have to download at least 2 mods, which basically is unlocking all achievements when you start the game. Pretty much, it pretty much sets the game up in a manner where you just press start on the game and all achievements will unlock. That's all DLC as well. So the only advice I would do is, because they're always changing these mods, like when I went to look for it, the mod the guide that I'd watched, the mod that was in that guide didn't exist anymore, but I was able to find 2 mods that did it for me. So I would say just keep on top of it and look for the mods. Try and find what the latest ones are out there if you still can. This game is part of Game Pass, so perhaps use Game Pass to get it. I would then advise, I mean, for me, the extra 30 quid for the 500G and the DLC just wasn't worth it anyway, but I would advise making sure your 2 mods work first with the base game, which is what I did, and then perhaps buy the DLC and then restart the game and start again to unlock that, just in case, because I wouldn't want anybody to waste money. This one does legit come with a genuine warning, certainly if you're going to buy the game outright. I mean, I only went for it because I had Game Pass, and I had Game Pass, so it wasn't costing me anything extra. It does come, honestly, again, comes with a severe warning, this one, should you want to take that route and get in the Gamerscore out of surviving Mars. Apparently you can stack it on the PC and do it there as well, but again, extreme caution. Make sure you get the right mods, make sure they work before you invest any real money into it. So I was just happy to pull the 1000G out of it, but I'm not counting it as completion because I had to do nothing for it. I'm also missing the DLC. I'm one of those, if a game has DLC, it then makes it a completion. You need the 1500 for it. But anyway, that is Surviving Mars and what I did and the warnings that it comes with. Okay, next up, another Ratalaika special, Random Heroes Gold Edition. This was a side-scrolling sort of 8-bit style platforming. Again, just have to have a quick nip in this to kind of remember it. Yeah, a lot of these are progressional and unlocking things, and the unlocking things just you just get from getting to a certain point. And Unlock Punk Hero will be the last one that you get, and it is a long way into the game. I took somewhere between 5 to 6 hours to unlock this, but I think people have reported it a bit quicker, so maybe 4 to 5 you can do it in. But for me, it took me about 5 to 6. There were a couple of levels that frustrated me that I really struggled with. You've also got to buy certain guns. That is right. That's why I'm glad I am looking at it. But buying the shotgun is one. Where are we? There's more. Buy the plasma pistol gun. There's a couple more. And obviously you've got killing certain types of enemies. That will just happen if you just shoot everything that you see. Buy the SMG gun. I think that is the one that I stuck with. And buy the twin shotgun. Yeah, so when you start the game, you start with a very bad weapon, and that twin shot is very cheap. I would suggest then buying that twin shot and then saving up your money for the SMG. And then when you buy the other weapons, flip back to the SMG, and then those are the only guns that have weapons achievements attached to them. You can then buy other guns as well that don't have achievements attached to them, so just make sure you get them for, and then buy a better gun to use within the game when you're still playing through it. I must admit, I was killing a lot and collecting coins to buy guns, but then eventually I just started running through the game, to be honest with you. I think there is also an achievement for getting a, there you go, find a crystal skull. There is one that basically is presented to you, which is why it's got 100% unlock rate, no doubt, and you pick it up, and then the others hidden the levels. I didn't find any, but there are others hidden the level. But it's pretty much get from left to right, but there are enemies in the way that you'll need to shoot. So yeah, it is easy, but it will take you a long time, that one. Next one up, Rush Rover, a sort of isometric twin stick shooter, and you are that character there that you can see in the thumbnail. Not too difficult, this one. You will pop a load of achievements at the start. I left the 3 dodge challenge achievements till last, and I got the top one there on my second attempt. Now, what was really annoying about that is I think the first run I went through on the dodge, I got 43 seconds, but then the second time I got 45. That's a separate mode. That's not too tough. But then you've got all these achievements here for playing through the game, like kill the Guardian, finish Blitz 3 times in once. A lot of these will unlock when you're just playing through. What I would suggest that you perhaps do, and what I did in the end, because the last 2 non-dodge mode achievements I needed, you'll see are finish Blitz 5 times in one game and get unscathed 5 times in one game. Now, in order to progress through an area, you need to kill all the enemies in the area, and then the next door will open. So if you kill all the enemies in under the time on the clock shown on the screen, you will then get awarded a Blitz medal. And if you do it without getting hit, you will get awarded an unscathed one. By all means, try for both in your first run, but if you haven't got any of these 2 top ones like I didn't, I then went for them separately, because obviously going for Blitz, is a lot easier if you don't mind getting the odd hit. So I did that, and then I went back and made the real effort to go through the unscathed thing, because then the clock wasn't an issue and I could take my time and really dodge everything. So that is just one way you can sort of do those and not do it in one playthrough, and not to have to focus on it at the same time. As I say, I would do that with those two. Those two markers are probably the toughest ones in the game, and that unscathed one there is probably the lowest unlock percentage, but it's still very high, so the game isn't actually that difficult. Okay, what have we got next? Above that, Renegade. Wow, this was a little bit tough. For the last, 300G? The first 600G that I got out of this is all for doing stuff in menus. Let's go down and do this one in chronological order as well. These first 5 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, create your own private match. That is all done from the main menus before you even start a game. Create your own private match. You don't even have to start it. Once you've created that lobby and you're even waiting for someone, it just pops straight away. It is super easy. All the others are just adjusting things within the menus, like, as you can see, scan lines, change your avatar, change your backgrounds, turn on reverb and sound options. The one that I was looking for in the main menus and couldn't find was open all control menus. You need to pause the game and do that one. Again, not difficult at all. Right, clear level 1, not difficult. Clear level 2, not difficult. I say not difficult. Level 4 has one path that you can take, and if you take the wrong path through the building, you then go back to the beginning. But this is one of those games that has multiple saving possible. So at any time you want to save your game, you can press start and save your game. So when you get to that last level, because on level 1 and level 2 it's actually different, the route you need to take. So just make a save. So if you go the wrong way and you can see you've gone the wrong way, then you can load up your last save state and go back to that. As I say, the level 1 and level 2 routes are sadly different as well, but the last room you should find yourself in will have a man in a green suit and has a gun. Now that gun hits you, it is a one-hit insta-kill, which is really annoying. Again, at any point you can make a save, so when you're in that room and you've knocked a bit of energy off him and done quite well, just quickly pause it, make another save state, so if one hit kills you, you can just pick up from where you left off again. So yes, that is a good thing to do with these games, obviously the in-game save state. And I must admit, I used that exact trick for this. Push all 19 enemies off the stage in mission 1 and 2. Every time I got one off, I then did a save state. Sometimes I'd do 2 if they were 2 together, but you've got to push every single one off the edge of the stage, including the boss after the train section. And then the next section will start, and there's another section where you can push people off into what is water in that one. Again, there are 19 in total, and you've got to push them all in there. As soon as the bikes start, after those all have been kicked in, then you can, the achievement should unlock, or will unlock. And that is what that's getting. You just have to create save after save after save, and it is frustrating. That one took me ages, and it isn't the rarest achievement on the game. Clear level 2 is still under 10%, so it is considered rare. But again, this was multiple save states, so every time I cleared a level and did quite well, I would make a save state, because every time you get through a section within a level, you then start off with a fresh health bar. So basically every time I got through one, I'd make a save state and then I could start again if I failed that save state, and not go right back to the beginning of the level if I lost all my lives. Again, it's all about creating save states, and there are more of these games to do, and I will probably be hitting up some of those next month. As I say, May should hopefully be 500,000 May. And there we go, unlock all achievements, just a stand one at the end. But this one will take you a little while and be a little bit on the difficult side, just because it is a bit of a tough game. I started playing this game because you have to press one button to punch to the left or one button to punch to the right. I quickly worked out by pressing them 2 together, you do a flying kick, and that is the attack that you pretty much need to spam throughout the entire game. You also can do a rush attack by double tapping forward and pressing attack in the direction which you wish to punch. That is very effective for pushing them off the edge as well. I found that if you fly and kick them while they're standing near the edge, that would push them off the edge too. Okay, next up we finished Dead Space, so I have a Dead Space 3 playthrough to talk about as well. I told you I'd done a lot. This could be quite a long video, I do apologise. So all of this was basically on a natural playthrough. The game took around about 12 to 13 hours for me to finish, and I only did it on easy just because I wanted to experience the game and I wanted to get through it and basically play the game and get it out of my backlog. I could perhaps revisit this game at a later date and obviously mop up some achievements. Complete all optional missions was one that I was going to go for, and then I missed one, so then after that I just didn't bother with the next one after that. So that's a shame, but there we go, that's the thing that happened. So complete the prologue, there you go. One you're going to get off the bat really easily. Survive your first spacewalk, that is pretty much progressional. Craft a weapon. When you go to a bench, you can craft weapons. That's all I did. It pretty much unlocks when I only put one part out and didn't actually craft an entire weapon. I did a circuit to the weapon. That's something you can do on the bench as well. That's not difficult. Use quick heal to heal yourself 20 times. It's pretty much going to happen because, you know, when you get hit, if you've got medi, you just tap B and that will put health into your little gauge on the back. Retrieve resources from a scavenger bot at bench. You will be introduced to a scavenger bot during the game. You will then be able to activate him. You can just literally chuck him down anywhere, let him go off, don't worry about trying to find him again. When you go to a bench, once he's done, he'll be there, and then once you go to that bench, it will automatically give you all the resources that he's found and your achievement will unlock. Recover the shuttle, that is progressional, as is those words there that I'm not going to try and pronounce. That is progressional. Kill the soldier by TKing a grenade or rocket back him. I was aware that this was an achievement, and there are human soldiers that you can face, and then they'll chuck little flashing red lights at you, which is their grenades, and then you can use a kinesis to pick it up and throw it back at them. Do that and you will get that achievement there. So that was just one I was aware of that you may not get through a natural playthrough. Kill 50 enemies while they're in stasis. Again, I was aware of this achievement, so that is also one that you could potentially miss, but stasis is very, very handy when there's a lot of enemies. Obviously, you know, you press Y while aiming, and that'll put them in stasis, and then you can kill them while they're in slow-mo. Do that 50 times, achievement unlocks. Craft a large medipack. That's another one that I was aware of. So when you're at the bench and you've got the resources to craft a large medipack, just do it for a very simple and easy 25G. Defeat the hive mind, that is progressional. Blast corpse, kill 30 enemies with explosive damage. Now, I actually crafted a weapon that fired sort of missiles, and that counts as explosive damage. Any barrels that you see about that enemies are near, shoot them and it'll explode, that will count as well. Wasn't actually intentionally aiming for this one, but that one is technically missable as well if it doesn't happen. But 30 isn't a lot, and if you've got the right weapon, you'll smash that out, no trouble at all. Kill the snow beast, that was progressional. Dismember 500 limbs from living enemies, that happened during gameplay as well. I could say it's technically missable, but I doubt you're going to miss that one. That is progressional. Kill 30 soldiers with headshots. That is not the aliens, obviously. All the sections where you fight normal soldiers, just aim for the head. You know, use your plasma, because that is a little bit more easier to aim than some of the other ones which have a little bit of kickback to them. I was aware of that one as well, so again, that is technically missable too on just a natural playthrough, but just when you see soldiers, just go for the head. Kill 30 enemies with melee strikes or a melee weapon part. Obviously, tap right trigger when they're in put them in stasis, tap right trigger when you're right in front of them. That'll make it easier to kill them with melee. Just do that 30 times for that. Kill 10 alien necromorphs. That just happened again through natural gameplay. I wasn't really aiming for it, so I was quite surprised that when that popped. So yeah, that one will probably unlock for you along the way as well. Reach the alien machine, progressional. Defeat the moon, progressional. Complete the game on any difficulty setting is exactly what it says on the tin. So yeah, I got 325 out of this, which is the lowest of the three for a natural playthrough. But the first half an hour of this was slow, the next 8 hours was a lot of fun, and then the last few hours unfortunately was a bit of a grind and I just wanted it to end. But still, as a whole, was a good game, and 325G for a natural 12 to 13 hour gameplay. Okay, next up I say this is a sinker, but there is no E in it, so SINKR. This can be a very easy 1000G. There are guides, many a guide for this on YouTube, with a runtime of around about 45 minutes to an hour. Follow that, allow for pausing. Can get it done in an hour if you can follow without pausing, obviously. Between an hour and 2 hours, I'd say, for pausing, because obviously the very first few levels you won't need to use a guide. I decided to stream this and see how long it would take me. I think there's 50 something levels. I got to 40 something level in about 3 hours without using a guide. It is basically what you see in the thumbnail there. You've got these hooks and you pull the pucks into the hole, and obviously it gets difficult by adding sort of more hooks. The fact that you need to pull hooks with hooks because they only pull inwards and you might need to pull one back. You can then flip them as well. That becomes an extra thing to the game. And just portholes and numbered portholes and things like that. The late levels get tough. But yes, I did 40 odd levels in about 3 hours without a guide, and then I did the last 10 levels or such in about another 3 hours without a guide, and that was mental. I'd wished I had just used a guide for the last 10 levels, but I got very stubborn. So this is going to take, as you, let's broad margin, 6 to 8 hours without a guide. Use a guide less than an hour potentially, probably about an hour and 2 to allow for following and pausing and stuff like that. Another sin crossed off. I finally played Left 4 Dead. Yes, I played a lot of Left 4 Dead over a few nights, probably about 8 hours worth all told. And again, we're going to need this open to remember it a little bit here, and we'll do it in chronological order. And there we go. Free yourself from a smoker who's grabbed you with his tongue. Those tongues wrap you and they pull you in, and there's a brief second where you get to be able to shoot them yourself before you go too far, and you need someone else to rescue you. That was the very first achievement I got, and as I say, I wasn't aiming for it, I wasn't trying for it, it just happened. There's a lot of achievements in this game that will just happen through doing things that you may not be aware of that are actually an achievement. The same thing happened to a fellow survivor, because there's 4 of you in these missions, and obviously you get through all of the sections by getting to a safe house, and then you start the next section. So there was another one of the survivors. There's always 4 of them. I was just playing single campaign with me, so there was 3 bots with me. So yes, there we go. We were able to free someone else who got put in the same predicament as me when I freed myself afterwards, and that was an achievement too. Kill a tank without dealing any damage to a survivor. Tanks are the big beasts, they really are. Thankfully, the other survivors kept their distance once when I was able to keep my distance, and I was able to finish it. As I say, I played all these run-throughs on easy because I was going for achievements, and again just wanting to complete the game and move on and get it out of the backlog. So beat a campaign with all 4 survivors. So basically it is possible for someone to die and not be left with you on the helicopter at the end, and it's quite funny because when you finish the game it comes up like an end of a film, and it will say at the top if someone's died, in memory of Zoe, which is the female character. And I thought that was quite funny. So yeah, just make it through with all 4 and you will survive, or you will get this achievement, sorry. That's not too difficult and easy. Survive the No Mercy campaign, that is the easiest one. Make 100 headshot kills. That will probably come naturally because there are so many enemies, and when you pick up I always picked up the machine gun at the beginning, and you always also start with a pistol, which is unlimited ammo as well, and if you find a second pistol you get dual pistols, which is also an unlimited ammo weapon, even when it becomes dual pistol. So just aim for the heads. When you get all the ones that are just milling around and not notice you about from distance, I suppose you could add to your headshots there by farming it out, but it'll probably come naturally as suggested by the high percentage unlock right there. Light a tank with a Molotov. Just make sure you've got the Molotov, and then you can throw one at a tank when you see one, and that achievement will unlock. Protect any survivor from attacking infected 50 times. Yeah, when you're fighting hordes, it will come up that you protected such and such just by the fact that they were getting close to them. It's not a case of having to free someone up, it will just happen like that. Light a witch with a Molotov. These things will kill you one hit if you are the one that disturbs them. You kind of want to get past them. There is an achievement for completing the game without disturbing any witches, but unfortunately every time I went for it, one of the computer let me down. But yeah, if you've got a Molotov, throw it at it. You'll get punished for it, but at least you'll get your achievement, and then you can work on that one where you pass all the witches another occasion, which I still haven't done and need to do. You or another survivor take no damage after being bumped by a boomer. Yes, get too close to these, they will throw up on you, and then it will impair your vision. The screen will go green and it'll have to wear off. So yes, you or a survivor take no damage after me. What I did is I had one of them do that to me, and I just literally backed off, and when he was the only one there, and I got lucky there, and the other guys finished him off for me. So yeah, just waited for the green to clear, and then I was fine. I got my achievement. Survived an entire campaign using only pistols. Obviously I was aware this was an achievement, so the getting dual wielding pistols doesn't affect this as well. Don't throw any grenades just in case. Some people say they don't cancel it out, but I decided to stay safe and literally just use pistols. Again, on easy it's not too difficult. You might have to help out your colleagues quite a bit because you're not doing as much work as you would normally do with your machine gun. Shove off a hunter off a pinned and helpless survivor. So when the hunters jump on a survivor, instead of shooting it, go up to them, melee them, and you'll get your 10G achievement. Kill an infected with a single blow from behind. I got that when I went through my run of trying to not get anyone hit with a friendly fire. That's it. So I actually failed that 2 times before I successfully got it. That was really annoying. Literally, once was twice I hit, once was once. You'll hit them a lot, to be honest with you. You need to know that achievement's there really to do that. Heal 25 survivors with the first aid kit. You can get one of those in every safe room you're with. Just remember that that's there and farm it out with any additional ones that you don't need to take with you. Set 101 infected on fire. When you have Molotovs, use them. Just use them and eventually that will come. There's loads of them in this game. When you throw a Molotov into a crowd of 10 zombies, you know what I mean, that's going to tally up in no time at all, so that one's not too difficult. Shove a boomer and then kill him without splashing anyone. So yes, when you see one of those boomers, quickly run up, give him a kick, run back, avoid the throwing up bit and then kill him. He takes pretty much a single shot to the stomach, so that one's not too difficult. Rescue a survivor trapped in a closet. When one of the fellow survivors actually dies during the game, unless it's the end, they will come back to life but be shut in a room, and then you just go to that room and open the door and the achievement will unlock. If you're not playing on easy, that will happen a few times, as I learnt when I moved off of easy, and then you can just literally do that and the achievement will unlock. Punch a hunter as he's pouncing. You'll see the hunters pounce at you. This will be annoying because you'll fail probably a few times like I did, or you'll get very lucky first time. It's quite hard to time, but keep trying and eventually use your melee attack as they're jumping at you, and hopefully you will be able to get that. This is the one that annoyed me. Playing a side campaign with no survivors taking friendly fire. I decided to sort of fire with care, and unfortunately failed twice, as I say, hitting friendly firing once and friendly firing twice. So I then decided to basically, do you know what, I am just going to melee my entire way through the campaign unless it truly is ridiculously safe to fire, like they're miles behind me. So that's what I did. As soon as the other characters were on screen, melee only, and if you really want to go for it, melee only all the way through. On easy you should be able to get away with it. Save another survivor from a special infected while on the ground. Yes, when I was going through I went for the finisher campaign on hard and just couldn't do it, I'll be honest with you. But when you're on the ground, you can fire your pistol, and save another survivor from a special effect while on the ground just clearly happened when I was randomly shooting and trying to do that, because on hard they were getting wiped out as well. So I was able to do that, fortunately. Nice 30G achievement for that. Blow up 20 infected for a single explosion. You can have, I forgot what the type of grenade is. There's Molotovs and there's another type of grenade. And you literally, when you throw it on the floor, they are actually attracted to it. So you'll learn quickly where there are two sections, or I think there was two sections I found in the game. Well, you'll quickly learn where there are sections where there are a lot of zombies. So when you throw this grenade on the floor, it starts beeping. They will all run towards it as well. And if there's like 20 already there, or 10 already there, and 10 in close proximity, then they're all going to rush in before it explodes. It's not too difficult. Just keep hold of one of them grenades until you get a good chance to do that, which is what I did. Again, it's just an achievement I was eventually aware of because I started looking at them after I played it a few times. That's another campaign. Did that on easy, no difficult at all. Survive a campaign without being incapacitated. So yes, obviously, when I was doing all my multiple run-throughs and learning that first level, I got incapacitated a lot, but I was able to do it on that toll collector one. So the surviving the death toll, I think, at the same time. Must have been over the stroke of midnight. Look at that. 25th and 26th. But there we go. Yes, that's not too tough on easy, that one. Survive the Dead Air campaign, that's another one you can do. Survive the Blood Harvest campaign. So yes, that was 430G in about 8 hours ish. Okay, next up, I knew this was going to be a long one. I played a lot and need a lot of reminding. Daytona USA is just something I revisited. This isn't that difficult from what I remember. If it's still available from the Xbox Live Arcade on the 360, then you can get the full 200 in about an hour, less than an hour. I think it's not that deep. Just got to be aware of the achievement list. Next up was the games with gold offering. Toy Box Turbos. This is extremely much like Micro Machines, with Mario Kart elements in the fact that you can pick power-ups. For this had a completion time of 6 to 8 hours on some websites, and I must admit it took me about 8 hours, because you have to get 3 stars on every mission, race, time trial and things like that as you progress, and then you have to beat sort of a boss car, which is basically a head-to-head in which you pick powers up with. You'll need to buy all the cars, but you'll get plenty of coins as you race through it. I would suggest that if you know you're going to fail a time trial or one where water chases you and you have to accumulate distance driven, just finish it so that you bank the coins. You can press start if you know you're going to fail and restart the race, but you need to get 1 million coins as an achievement as well, which is long past actually buying every car. So just be aware of that. Just finish it. As I said, 3 stars on every event will annoy you in a couple of places. There was, I think, 2 or 3 along the way which I spent a lot of time on, which added the 8 hours up basically. I remember one where I was chasing, or the water was chasing me, and I had to accumulate distance. I would get so close to 2,500 that it would really frustrate me, and it took multiple attempts. It took about half an hour of time for that one alone. But it's just a case of when you keep learning, then you know what car to have, because you have to buy all the cars, but you'll accumulate so much money. I was finding that I could buy all the cars and then pick one before I started all the events. And you'll have stats for the car, so just look at the stats, see which one suits you best, see which one is the best for you, or which one is necessarily best for the particular event as well. I was going to say, all of this you'll pick up on just by playing it and familiarising yourself with the game. So not too tough of a completion. Honestly, it took me 8 hours. I would say 8 to 10 hours is a safe, fair sort of time span, but at the same time, just be aware that this can be a little bit skill based as well, and might cause you a bit of frustration. It caused me a bit of frustration. There was one time trial which you need to learn perfectly 3 laps of and take all the shortcuts, and even then you'll only be a split second away from getting near the time a lot, and I only just did it once. Okay, so I said in one video that I would play 8, 9 and 10 and update you all, but they take so long to do one and get a decent chunk of Gamerscore out of it. I'm doing sort of one per section of the month. So in May part 1, you should hear me talk about FIFA 10, which is, I think, the last FIFA that I own that I can get up to date with. Or I might do FIFA Street after FIFA 10. I've got that, I've just noticed. But anyway, put a lot of time into this to get that 480G. So I decided to go straight for, where is it, the 100G achievement here. Complete a manager mode season without seeing any games. Obviously, you can pick leagues where there are less games, but I decided to go for the Spanish league and be Barcelona. But there are leagues where there are a lot less teams, so I think the Australian league has one of the lowest amounts in it, something like that. So yes, I decided to go for that, and I set each game to 4 minutes and a half, and I thought I could try and get some of the other in-game achievements along the way, which, as you'll see here, is what happened. So what did we get along? Oh yeah, I was aware that these existed. I think one of these is a hidden achievement, a secret achievement. So when I was in the arena, when I started the game and was in the arena, I literally just scored 20 goals. I'm not sure if it's cumulative over multiple sessions, or you have to do it all in one session. So I would advise, just be safe, do it all in one session. 5 goals, that'll take no time at all. And even scoring 20 goals in the arena will take no time at all, because you can get right up close to the keeper and just do that. Score with the defender in the match, that's self-explanatory. I was aware that was there. Corners and headers is a good place to do that. It doesn't matter where you place your defender on the pitch, so you can actually put them up front. Some of the later FIFAs, you have to be in the right position. With this one, you don't. So yes, I was just I think I got it from a corner, but you can put your defender up front if you really want to for that 10G achievement. Yeah, score by chipping the keeper. You have to hold down. I forget which one it is. I think it's the left bumper while you're shooting, and that will do a chip action. Just remember that's there. This one you can't really do. It will just happen. You can't really make this happen, but if you play a lot of it, eventually it will hit the post or bar and go in. Save a penalty. I was aware of this achievement, so that is why I've got that before keep a clean sheet, because I kept giving away penalties in order to try and save it. I think I got third time lucky and I saved one. So a nice 10G achievement there. And of course, when I did that, I just played without giving away penalties, and keeping a clean sheet just happened. It was very easy. That's not, especially if you want to farm the achievement out and not worry about losing, you can literally put it on the easiest setting. It doesn't affect the achievement in difficulty, unlike the previous FIFA that I played, which was 7, wasn't it? Score on the volley in the match. That just happened. Win a game when one man down. So I knew this was an achievement, so I got someone deliberately sent off to do that. Score from a cross. That's going to happen. Got lucky with this one. Score with a bicycle kick. I thought I was never going to do this, and I scored 2 bicycle kicks in my entire season playthrough, and they were both in the same game. So yes, just when you cross, if it's behind the player, double tap B, and he may do a bicycle kick, and hopefully it'll go in. Again, if you're Barcelona, the players are obviously a lot better, so you've got more chance of them being pulled off. I know for a fact that Eto'o does them and Henry does them, because they were the players that I scored with. Okay, good head on your shoulder. Score with a header in a match. Again, keep those crosses coming. You'll eventually get it. You may score from a corner with a header. I didn't in this occasion. You'll see why in a second. Score from over 30 yards in a match. Put finesse on your shot. I think it was Samuel Eto'o who did it for me eventually. When I got myself a couple of goals ahead in the game, I would then do the finesse shots from distance. Score from a penalty in a match. I kept walking up to the keeper when I was through on goal, because I was playing a beginner so that I could do this. And then I would turn sharply to the right, and eventually the keeper did wipe me out, and it counted as a penalty. So that's how you can make a penalty happen. I then missed the first one I got and had to do it again. A quick 5G achievement. You may get a penalty naturally in the match. That more or less may happen in a whole season playthrough at some point. Score from a corner. Yeah, that eventually happened. Buy a player in manager mode for 50 million of your chosen currency. I had to be Barcelona, as I said, because that will give you more money. I had to sell a few players to be able to have 50 million in my account, and then I bought Cristiano Ronaldo, who was actually at Manchester United at the time, I do believe, but it cost me like 55 million. There's also an achievement for selling a player for 50 million. I put Messi on the market, and the highest bid I got was 44, so I never got that in the end. I wasn't aware this was an achievement, but then all of a sudden I was. Play 5 consecutive matches without getting any cards, so do not press the slide button. Press the standing tackle all the time, and if you want to be super careful, just actually run into players all the time. Don't even press tackle at all. 40G for playing 5 games without getting a booking. Bookings must be enabled in settings, as it says. Yeah, not difficult at all. And then, as I say, eventually I got the job done. You can lose in cups if you just want to get knocked out of the cup, so you don't have to play extra games. I actually decided to play all the cups as well, so yeah, just get yourself knocked out, and then you won't have to play cup games, and you only have to do league games. Be a 5-star team with a half-star team. Do this in the standard kickoff mode where you just play 1 game. You can set it all up yourself. I think Accrington and Stanley was my half-star team. I played Chelsea, but put it on beginner and it's not hard at all. Honestly, still beat them like 5-0, and that will count towards the achievement. Winner tournament starts with 16 teams with a 1-star team. Again, put it on easy, not too difficult at all. Each round, unfortunately, is over 2 legs except for the final, so it will take a little bit of a long time. And that applies to this as well. Create a tournament with 64 teams, so you can be a 5-star team in this one. Again, put it on easy. Each game is 2 legs except for the final as well, so that will take a little bit of time. But there's 75G and 50G, so it's nice chunk of Gamerscore for doing it anyway. And I didn't add any more of those in-game achievements that I did through my manager career, but you might be able to get a few of those there. What was the one achievement I could never get was diving. I couldn't score a diving header for love of money, and I really did keep putting crosses in. I was advised on a website that if you pick Drogba, if you pick Chelsea and use Drogba, he does a lot of diving headers, and I got him to do a few leaning forward headers, but he never dived. He has to actually dive forward and land on his chest, apparently. So unfortunately I didn't get that one. I may return to this once upon a time. Just remembered, heavy warning on this: if you are one of those people like me who gets bugged by your Gamerscore not ending in a 0 or 5, careful not to score in the 89th minute. There is a 19G achievement for scoring in the 89th minute. I was aware of this, so I made sure I had the result I wanted before the 89th minute and didn't score on it or past it. The other achievement that will balance out your game score is for playing this game for 50 hours, and that is pitch time only. So I would advise accumulate the hours, and if the 1G pops, which obviously it hasn't, I haven't put 50 hours pitch time into this, probably haven't put 25, then you can then balance it out by scoring the 89th minute of a game. So I have left that achievement because it will bug me. However, if I accidentally uneven my gamer score by 1, I can pop into this and unlock that achievement and even it out again. So it's nice to know it's there. But all of that, say 4 minutes and a half over a 38 game season with cup games, you can get yourself knocked out of it. You know, that just puts in perspective how long it takes. Let's say 64 team tournament and a 16 team tournament as well. Games over 2 legs. Again, put a lot about. It's got to be. It has actually. It might be over 25 hours of putting in pitch time. 25 to 30 hours. That's a lot of game time on FIFA 09 to get that game score out of it. But getting game score out of old games, it's got to be done. Going crazy, super easy. This one takes 20 minutes. Couple of things to be aware of. Getting 2,000 points may be a little bit tricky. If you die and press continue, then you will lose all of your score, so bear that in mind. Keep an eye on your lives and your score, bottom left. There is a level in the second level. Yes, there is a sort of staging in the second level where all these balls fall out from the roof, and then when you hit one, they turn into 2 smaller ones, and they turn into 2 smaller ones until obviously they get so small that they blow up. You really amass the points there. So if you learn the pattern of the first boss, get past him and get to that stage with a decent amount of lives and hearts, then you will probably get to 2,000 points quite easily. But the other one is you also get an achievement for finishing up to and including level 2 as well, and there is a point where you will run out of continues as well, so you kind of have to play safe. But I got this done in about 20 to 25 minutes, even with those small problems as such. Everything else just comes naturally. Killing certain enemies, getting to 1,000 points, defeating the first mini-boss, which is sort of a sub-boss on level 1, beating the level 1 boss and things like that. Honestly, absolutely through it. Okay, Max, Curse of the Brotherhood, game past game, which I need to go back to and finish. Absolutely had a lot of fun with this. He pulls a little pen out of his thing and you draw little things that you can then use to help progress through the level. So a lot of this is a natural playthrough, except for the last 2 achievements I went back and got. So we and just in time to reach the old lady in under 5 minutes. That is the very first level, and I must admit, actually, I did go for this achievement off the bat, because I saw this and I guessed that the first level was very easy. So you complete a level without dying. So again, I did die a couple of times learning that first level, but the level is not that easy. And again, I was effectively speedrunning it. So these two here, I think, kind of happened at the same time. It's not that difficult to finish that first level in under 5 minutes with a bit of practice and learning the level. You use your magic marker 25 times. Christ, that will come very, very quickly. These evil eye things are sort of eyes on a sort of plant stem that are all around the level. They're in lots of places, some of them hidden that you'll have to find. Finding 5 of them wasn't difficult at all, as was finding the first piece of the lost amulet. You tame the spikester, lucky you, yep, that's progressional, and an enemy that you will kill. You made it for the stone pillars, yep, that's progressional as well. Time much, yep, progressional. 5 crits explode. Yeah, these ones are in the first couple of levels. The little things go side to side. If you jump over them, you'll need to run away from them, and then they'll explode up because they're trying to kill you with their sort of dangerous mist that's inside them by committing suicide, basically. Just remember that they're there, and you can get that one done. Up you go, flipping block boxes. I think that was a progressional one as well. Killed a bomb with his own bomb. That again, that happened quite naturally. I think if you create a vine or a branch, you can make them go back to them. Yep, that's progressional as well. Drew 200 earth pillars. Like I say, that's what you do with your little tool. That'll come. Again, achievements on this track as well, which is really good. Drawing 200 branches. Again, that will happen. I managed to find 25 of the eyes as well. I haven't found all of them. That is another achievement which I need to go back to. All the eyes and the amulet pieces, if you pause it, it will tell you if you've got all 5 or the amulet piece by filling up an empty circle. And also there'll be an order of where you find the level. So if out of the 5 circles for the eyes, the second one along's missing, you know that after you found the first one and third one, you missed one in between somewhere. Okay, that was progressional as well. 6 pieces of the amulet. I was going to say you have to really explore and find odd, go into bits of the level that you don't need to go through, sort of thing. Eventually they will all turn up. Again, this one isn't rare, so a few people have managed to find that through a natural playthrough. I did. Drawing 200 vines. That is progressional. Again, that vines thing is another thing you do with your tool. You made the world look greener. That was a progressional achievement. Water streams is another thing that gets brought in later on. That will happen. It's the fiery falls, but yeah, that's progressional. 50 moustaches, evil eyes. There's quite a lot of them. I was able to find 50 of them in my first playthrough. Finding a kid brother, progressional. You lit 25 enemies on fire. There's a fire element that gets brought into the game as well. You can also drop enemies into the fire pits of the later levels as well. That's not too easy to get. You might accidentally get that one too, or you can also be aware that it's there, because when you draw 200 fireballs, you can shoot them at enemies, and that counts towards that achievement too. Again, that's pretty much going to happen in your playthroughs as well. You took care of the pesky beast once for all. Well, that is progressional, and you defeat Mustachio and saved your brother. That is the final boss and progressional too. I then went back to... I must have been on 11 pieces of amulet, because I went back to do these 2 achievements here, and I found the piece of amulet for the very first level, which I had not found. And then there is this achievement: 1 sea of sand, 2 earth pillars, 3 drawings, piece of cake. Now, when you do that, you pull up these 2 pillars, and you need the left one to move to the right one. You move the left one up first to as high as you can jump on. You move the right one up high to jump on. The idea is that you jump back to the left one, then onto the right one, and then across the gap, which is up high. So you use them like that. But if you do it with just 3 rather than 4 or any more, then you can unlock this achievement. And I thought, well, I'll go back and work this one out. So I pulled the first pillar up as far as I could. But if you need to pull up a pillar again, you have to sort of press X to make it disappear, and then you can draw your pen out and pull it up again. So I pulled the second one up as high as I could, and then it came to me. I thought you had to pull them up just as high as you could jump to be able to get out, and I realised you were miles off. But then what you do is you press X on the second pillar, and then at the very bottom of it, and then press to start it again, and it will start it again, and you can catch Max, keep pulling up, never stop pulling up, and then you can pull him all the way to the top, and then you've done it in 3 pillars. So, and that was how 3 drawings, piece of cake. It is easy once you know how. But Mustachio is the final boss of the game. Once you learn the patterns on how to do and what you need to do with jumping up on the sides and connecting the vines to make the electricity flow through the thing that kills him, and his very repetitive boss patterns, after a few more attempts, about 5 or 6 it was, I was able to beat him without getting hit. Now I think I can go back and get the other ones, which I do in certain levels without dying and things like that, but I just got sidetracked by other games, and we shall see why in a minute. So I think, are we going on to my last day of the month when I decided, because half a mil maze up, I really want to go for it. I played this game here called Invert. I heard it was an easy completion, and it pretty much is. You need to finish 3 worlds to get achievements for finishing the 3 worlds, I believe. The last achievement I got was, died 666 times. Finish world 3. There is a guide by the good people of Achievement Land. Again, it's in a full walkthrough, so you won't find it in that playlist, but do search for their walkthrough guide on their channel for this game, and on there's an input code to skip levels. Now I didn't use their guide until I got stuck in world 3, and it literally brings up a cheat options. If you pause it and put in this code, it then brings up a cheat options which stays there, and every time you start a level you can go down to this cheat option and skip the level. However, I did learn that you will need to beat the final boss of each world, which is what takes the time. Can be frustrating, but again, once you learn the pattern and just get a bit of practice in, you have to jump on his head, by the way. I learned that. I thought you just had to keep making him walk into spikes. You have to actually jump on his head. Yes, I wish I knew that sooner. But anyway, you can, once you get to that boss, beat the boss, and finish the world achievements will unlock. There are other ones that you will need to farm out, like jumping 1,000 times. Obviously, that's self-explanatory. There is also inverting, which to complete the levels, you need to invert the screen colours, so change things from white to red so that you change to red and you can stand on the red blocks and so on. So you'll need to do that 1,000 times, and there are ones below that as well. Generous with their achievement values because there's not many of it. Beware, look odd, but if you find a crystal, you can then pick. If you die, you can then pick up the same crystal over and over again, and so just be aware of that. I would suggest actually playing the first world until you come across a crystal. Actually, don't skip all the first world levels. Play through the first world until you come across a crystal that you're quite happy that you can get to every time, because it doesn't have to be 15 different crystals. It just has to be 15 crystals, so you can die, go back and pick the same one up. And that is what I was doing, because I got stuck in a little section when I was generally playing through before I discovered the level select cheat. And I was like, oh, that's handy. Unlock. And then I saw the 73G unlock. Or it was the 72 actually, for inverting 72 times unlock. So I was so pleased when it did that, because obviously, I'm one of those people. I don't like 0. I like my game score to end in 0 or 5. The only other one, again, I take no credit for this. I remember the level and I couldn't remember what level it was. So in their guide, if you go to, I think it's level 12 in World 1, you instantly start on something that pushes you, and you need to press invert straight away. So after I'd done all the other achievements, as you'll see, because I'd finished World 3, you will die multiple times doing the bosses, so that will help at least. Or if you play any of the game, that will help at least. So yes, I decided that I would then just pretty much leave it on that level and just walk away, make me dinner. I think it was that time of night, and it will farm. Eventually that will unlock, but not difficult at all. If you use the level select cheat, you'll probably you're looking around about the hour mark if you use the level skip cheat, but obviously you've got some jumping and inverting and dying to farm out. Okay, next up, Active Neurons puzzle game. There is a brain section and a body section. You only need to do the brain section. You will need to finish all of the puzzles within that brain section to get all of these achievements. Charge the 8th neuron. There's charge 1 through 8, so first through to 8th neurons is achievements, and then obviously that will then fill up the whole brain, and you'll get the charge brain achievement above it too. There's just a couple of other things, like open a dangerous door, you will need to do to finish level. Smash not a dangerous object, you will also need to do that to finish the level, so that will unlock, as will the teleport inert object, as will teleporting. There are a couple which are technically missable, but it's not that difficult. Pushing an inert object, you will need to do that. Open the door, you will need to do that. Destroy a moving dangerous square, I think you will need to do that, but just be aware that's there. But destroy a dangerous square, I think you need to do that as well. These are all things that you will need to do, but you can actually farm them out earlier. You can just push yourself into a danger. I did, just in case you didn't need to do it in a later point, but I think you need to push objects into dangerous squares in order to get through things. So I wouldn't worry, it's literally just a playthrough. What makes this, I mean, the first few levels are easy anyway, but what makes this super easy is, for some reason the devs decided that if you press Y, oh yeah, very first achievement, use the solution. If you press Y at any stage, it will show you the solution, then you'll go back to playing the level. So that's what makes it very easy as well. You might want to follow a guide on YouTube, because then you haven't got to keep pressing Y, and you can follow it a bit easier perhaps, literally as it's happening in front of you. But seriously, even using Y, you can remember the first part of it, and then it will help you get towards near the end of the solution, and it will then become quite easy. But yeah, the fact it's got that pressing Y button in it, the fact you can use a guide, makes this an under an hour completion. I suppose if you want to play through it properly, not using solutions by pressing Y and not using a guide, it'd probably take much longer. But yeah, you can get it done in under an hour, and I did quite a chunk of it without the solutions because it was easy. And then when there were a few tricky ones and I just wanted to get the game done, I kept hitting Y. And finally, last night I streamed it, I played through it 3 times. A campaign run on this takes a good couple of hours because there are 12 levels, they are quite long. So I played it last night. What did I get through one natural playthrough? Consume a healing item. That happens very early on. Break the car in the streets. When you start that first level, a car drives into the wall and it's kind of smashed up, but not completely smashed up. Finish it up, smashing it up, and that will happen. Achieve a super combo. There are achievements for doing 3 levels of combo. Super combo is the easiest one. You will probably get that. I did without trying. I haven't got the other 2. Free yourself from a grab. Again, that just happened by accident. Breaking a wine bottle, that is a pickup. So when you pick up the wine bottle and hit an enemy, it will break. You will get your achievement. Sometimes you may even break wine bottles on the floor, or an enemy has, and just get it by accident too. Kill an enemy by tossing them into holes. So yes, stand in front of a hole with the enemy the other side of the hole and then throw them into it. Not hard at all. This will happen on your very first playthrough. You will meet Adam, you unlock him. Catch a weapon in the air. Again, this happened by accident as well. When weapons, there's one boss that actually sort of lifts them up and throws multiple weapons in the air. I think I did it during that by accident. Destroy all motorcycles. There is a boss. You will notice there are a ton of motorcycles to the right of him. Destroy them all when you are there. You will get that achievement. Break a spear. You'll pick a spear up during the game as well. And when you're beating up enemies with it, eventually they will break. Beat Shiva. That is progressional. Break both elevator window panes. You are going up in an elevator at some point. You will notice 2 big glass windows on the left and on the right. Ignore the one to the top of the screen. It doesn't affect the achievement. The only way to break it, I found, was by throwing enemies into it or beating enemies into it. Once one side breaks, just make sure you go over to the other side and get that done. You may miss it in your first playthrough, but it's not a difficult achievement. So you will need multiple playthroughs to get a lot of the achievements out of this game. I'll get to that in a minute. Beat Possessed Max, that is progressional. That is a thing that will happen along the way. I should note, by the way, for the purposes of achievements and getting through campaigns quickly, because you'll need to do quite a few of them, I had it on easy. Use a wrecking ball to kill an enemy. You will see that you can actually punch it for one side and make it start swinging. If it kills an enemy, you will get this achievement. Beat Mr. and Ms. Y. Not married, but got the same surname. Interesting. So yes, beat them too, and you will get that achievement. Again, that is progressional. And for my first campaign, I let the good people of Mixer choose because I streamed it, and they said beat Axel. So I did indeed beat Axel, and obviously completed it with him on easy. So unlocked the all clear with Axel. Now, there are achievements for all clear with SOR1 characters, Streets of Rage, SOR2 and SOR3 characters, and I thought I'd get all of them just by reading that achievement, and I didn't. So I did some further research into that, and basically what happens is every time you play the game, and your score goes into a lifetime score bar, which accumulates. There's achievement for getting to 5 million, by the way. I've done 3 playthroughs and only got on easy and only just got over 500,000, so that one is going to take a long time to get. But on the first bar, there are these 3 little diamonds, and each time you meet one of those diamonds, you unlock an SOR1 character, and that is basically the exact sprites that appear in the first game of that character. So in my 3 playthroughs, I unlocked all 3 SOR1 characters. I've locked 3 out of the 2 SOR2 characters, so I've nearly got the 4th one, and then I'll move on to the SOR3 bar after that, I guess. So by the time I've done all my playthroughs with the 5 characters that you are getting, I should be able to then do the SOR1, SOR2 and SOR3 playthroughs. So you can see there are 5 characters. You need to do a playthrough with each, but you need to unlock Adam by being someone else. So 5 playthroughs at 2 hours each, and then 3 playthroughs, I'm guessing, with an SOR1, 2 and 3 character as well. So that is 8 playthroughs to get all playthrough achievements. Seriously, get an S rank on any stage. I got so close a couple of times, and I got this one is going to be tough, but I would play on it. You can get it done on easy. I forget which stage I did. You need to obviously retain your health. Keep the stars for special moves, gets you 500 points for each one that you are left with. You can find more during a stage as well. And yeah, just keep the combos going. I found by tapping punch and then double tapping punch during just pressing punch on its own, you'll then go into a superish move which doesn't take any energy away, and that lands a 5 to 6 combo per enemy. So you know, use that to get your combos up and get your points up as well, and eventually I'll be able to do it. You might find that through your multiple playthroughs, eventually, once you get the knack of the game, you will get there eventually. Kill a chandelier. You kill a chandelier, use a chandelier to kill an enemy. Stage 11 is the only point you can get this. There's only one that you can do it with. I noticed it on my first playthrough, but obviously missed it because I wasn't aware that it was there. But you can pick a sword up that's inside a sort of knight statue, and then there's a rope holding a chandelier up. There's one sort of small minion enemy that will come forward, wait till he's under the chandelier, and then use the sword to hit the rope. I think you could probably punch the rope as well and it'll break, and that will bring down the one chandelier in the game. Time it right and hit him and you'll get that achievement. It's in level 11 when you enter a building. Clear the campaign. Then on that second run through where I got that achievement, I decided to be Adam, who I'd unlocked because I was always Adam in the first one. So far I've been him, Adam and Blaze, so I'm looking forward to playing with Adam at the moment as my main out of the 3 so far, but I haven't played the other 2 yet. They may be better. Use a barrel or grenade explosion to kill 3 enemies at once. Again, the grenades are a weapon that some enemies drop. Just when 3 are bunched together, try and get them all with the same grenade or barrel. You probably may get that through by accident as well. And again, I did 3 playthroughs last night. It took me about 6 hours, and the third one was with Blaze. So today, as of filming, I'm actually going to do 2 more, definitely, perhaps the 3 Streets of Rage ones as well this evening. So I'm going to put another 10 hours into this game today, potentially, stroke early hours of the morning. But there we go, 400G in about 6 to 7 hours. Yeah, this isn't going to be an easy completion, this one, because there is an achievement for finishing any level in mania mode, and couldn't do it. I only had 1 attempt, couldn't do it, but with a bit of practice I may be able to get there, but it's super tough. But at the moment everything's rare because it's brand new. But those are the SOR1, SOR2, SOR3 campaigns I was talking about. It'll be interesting to see if they adapt their moves or they literally keep them to their original form. Complete a stage without taking damage is going to be tough, and getting S rank on all stages on hard difficult will be tough as well. And that was the one that I went for that was unable to do. Tough combo, again, look at the low percentage on the Out This World. That one I may be able to do. I got up to 50 something once and that didn't unlock it, but yeah, and I might try and do a playthrough on a hard or higher once I've got a bit of practice. But again, this is the one, lifetime of 5 million. That's going to take ages to get to. A lot of people have hit it already. That's obviously a 2-player mode achievement, and I don't know what these are. I will have to look those up. But yeah, hit an ally, play 2-player mode, and just punch someone, I guess, that's on your team and annoy them. Once you've done the achievement, don't do it again. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is what I knew this would be a long one. Apologies, but that is basically what I have got in the second half of April. And 500,000 May, I'm hoping it's going to happen. It should do if I basically do the same as I did in April, and I still have all the time from being furloughed from work. At the moment, we're looking middle of May, potentially at the earliest for where I work. It might actually go on to potentially as late as the end of June, worst case scenario. So hopefully get plenty more gaming in. We're going to play some more 360 backlog. I've got a couple of easy indie games already lined up. I want to play some more of those, the Renegade ones that were in that bundle. There's another 6 of those with at least 600G per game. That's easy to get. And as I say, I'm going to make a real push for this 500,000, and then hopefully I know what game I'm going to use, which I cannot stream sadly. I know which game I'm going to use on the 360 to get the 500,000, and I'll make a short video on that, so please do look out for that. As I say, please do drop by Mixer and please watch me there. That'd be great to have more people, more the merrier. As I say, I read the comments, I do talk to people, I do my best to keep up with them. At the moment, I don't have that many views per stream, so I'm able to interact with the ones that are there a lot. So yes, link to Mixer is in my description, and I think I've gone on for long enough now. If you've made it through to the end, thank you very much. Really, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, take care.